Today we are working backwards. Yesterday we found volume of a sphere. Today we are working backwards. I'm going to tell you what the volume of the sphere is, and you are going to calculate its radius. You have 5 problems on the big ideas with this, so make sure you watch the video, take notes, write them down. That's only give you 5. Okay, so if I know the volume of this sphere or how much space is inside of it, and I wanted to find the radius, one of the ways I could do it would be to cut this into 2 hemispheres and open it up and measure the diameter of the circular base I would create. So imagine I was to open this, break it into halves, and measure across and find the diameter. I would just take half of that and I would find the radius. But I don't want to wreck my nice fancy ball here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate its radius given its volume. So I know the I know the volume of my orange sphere is 972 pi millimeters cubed. Now what that means is 972 times pi, remember an estimate of pi is 3.14. We're writing it in terms of pi because I don't want a long decimal. I want to keep an exact answer. Okay, if you wanted to find out exactly, but you never could find the exact amount, but if you wanted to get a closer estimate of what the volume of the sphere is, what you could do is multiply this number by 3.14 and you would get a closer estimate to the volume. The problems you have today are all in terms of pi, so we'll just leave it as that and find out how to do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the first step is going to be to substitute, and I'm going to plug in where the volume is because I know the volume, and again I'm trying to find the radius. Just write them. Okay, so 5 problems, write them out, not too much work. Okay, remember this is what I'm trying to find. I know everything else here. Okay, the first step, I'm going to eliminate that pi symbol. Just going to divide both sides by pi. Pi divided by pi is 1. Pi divided by pi is 1. 972 times 1 is 972. 4/3 times whatever the radius cubed is. Okay, so again, we're eliminating the pi symbol off each side, and we get right down to here. Now, I don't know if you remember this from the beginning of the year, but to eliminate a fraction in an equation, you can always multiply by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 4/3 is 3/4. So just flip it. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/4. Now look how nice this is. 4/3 times 3/4. Cancel. Cancel. 4/3 times 3/4 is 1. So I have 1 radius cubed. And on the other side, I'm going to do 3/4 times 972. Or if you don't have a calculator that you can put in fractions, you can do 972 times 3 divided by 4. Or you could even do 0.75, which is the decimal for 3/4 times 972. And you should get 729. Now, the last step when you're talking about spheres and you need to work down to the radius is going to be not to take the square root. You're going to take the cubed root. So if you can recall from the beginning of the year, we worked with the cubed root, which is simply what number times itself 3 times equals 729. All right, number 1 is, hopefully you still have that paper at home with the cubed roots on it that I gave out at the start of the year. If not, I'll try to find one online and post it. Hopefully you have a calculator that takes the cubed root. If not, you can estimate it and try to find out what it is. So I'm going to think about a number that times itself 3 times equals 729. That's going to give me the radius. Remember, this would cancel out because they're inverse operations here. Okay, so what do I think times itself 3 times equals 729? Again, most people are just going to plug it in the calculator. You're probably done by now. If not, I'm trying to think. So I know 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So it's a little bit less than 1,000. So I'm going to try 9 times 9 times 9. Oh, guess what? That's what it is. 9 times 9 times 9 is 729. Therefore, the radius is 9 millimeters. So if you were to cut my sphere in half and measure across the circular base, it would be 18 millimeters, and therefore the radius is 9. Now, let's say if you want to make sure you get 100 on your big ideas, simply plug back in and check your answer. So I'm going to take 9 for the radius. I'm going to go back to the original formula, and I'm going to do 4/3 times, just leave the pi symbol. Don't do times 3.14, just leave it. Radius cubed, 729. I'm going to do 4/3 times 729, and luckily I get 972, and my answer is correct. Okay, I'm going to do another one of these if you need it. If you think you're good to go, you can go ahead and start your assignment. And otherwise, I'm going to put a second problem up, which is going to be, optional to watch if you need to. Make sure you write these down, though, okay? It's going to make it a lot easier to do. All of the answers are, actually, there's rounded to the tenths, a couple of decimals, okay? I'm going to, like I said, I'll do another problem if you need it. Otherwise, just, email me if you need any help, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.